Hey guys, insight number 3, and we're looking at the witness pages. So there's witness of 3, and then a bit lower down, you get a witness of 8. So that makes 9, that makes 11, can't count them. And Joseph Smith is 12. 12's got a nice number to it if you're looking at the witnesses sort of thing. That's a lot of people. It's considered generally in culture as well as ancient religion as like a full set of witnesses. It's a little bit of Hebrewic numeracy coming in there, but basically, yeah. And people will say, these witnesses this and they did that, you know what? But they never denied what they signed their names to here. Whatever their stories were and individual needs, and whether they were martyred or whether they went inactive or whether they went against Joseph, they never went against the Book of Mormon or what they had seen. So keep that in mind, and that we can do the same thing. We can know a lot of people. We can be those people who witness a certain thing and say, yes, that definitely happened, but I don't really like where it's going now, so I'm going to go this direction, but I'm never going to deny that thing that I knew. And you can get really critical over them, but it's a different time and place. So leave that where it is. You don't need to argue over that. What you can look at is that they all came together, all 11 of them came together over this one topic and agreed. They were a vast, interesting group of men with different backgrounds, different ages, different values, beliefs, core identities, the whole thing. But they all agreed on this thing, and that is beautiful, because that doesn't happen often. You've ever seen the movie 12 Angry Men? These were 12 happy men, so keep that in mind. Okay, so first 3, then 8 more, and now look for words describing how big this felt for them and how faith and grace brought about the desired experience. So the beginning sentence of the testimony of 3 witnesses kind of indicates how big this felt to them, and I still don't even quite think they got how big it was going to be. But it says there, and they wrote these statements. They came up with these statements together to sign their names to them. And the 3 witnesses, both Oliver and David, were 23 years old. That is mighty young, especially for that day and even today. It's doable, but it's admirable if somebody that young was this convicted to something in the cause of something. That is a good trait. Martin Harris was 45. And we know he had a history of all this, but forgiven at this point, and he knew. Yeah, did he have personal demons to deal with? Yeah, he did. But he knew this, and that's what we're going to focus on. But they all knew. They said, "Be it known unto all nations, kindreds, tongues, and people, unto whom this work shall come." Now, they're probably thinking of our community or maybe of this country. I don't think they had any comprehension, or at least kind of might have had an inkling of it, if I can use that word these days, but maybe not the full comprehension. And I don't even think we do have the full comprehension of how exactly the Book of Mormon in different languages has flooded the earth and continues to do so. I don't think we quite comprehend that, and I don't think they really got that either. They might have had an idea, maybe they were told, but you still don't really get it. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. So they're feeling how big that would be. So look for words and sentences like that too in their witness statements of how big this was for them, and how much they were like, this is just wow, because that's where we want to sit with it. That's where we want to be in the wow. How awesome is this? And that through there, they talk about the first 3 witnesses talk about their experiences. Came through grace on how they got to this point, especially as we know Martin Harris, and we can know more of Oliver Cowdery's story. David Whitmer's story is a little less written, but he still was there and had his own experiences. Whitmer family sounds like an awesome family. So, but yeah, Martin Harris had his things, and unfortunately in church history he became very known, and that's something he's going to have to live with, and did live with. But we can give grace to that too, because, different circumstances, right? It's all good. And we're certainly not perfect either, so no throwing stones, right? Stone catcher, not stone thrower. And so they talk about a lot of stuff like that, and just how that grace of God, he'll declare it and he'll minister it. The witness will come from a divine place, and each of us has each of us has an angel that brought us to this. So while the angel Moroni came and helped this particular instance come forth, we've all got our own little personal angels who brought us to the witness of the Book of Mormon. Even if we're still finding it, there's still somebody, earthbound, heaven-bound, angel of status, that brought us to the knowledge of the truth of the Book of Mormon. Even though we did the work ourselves, somebody introduced us to it, somebody gave us our first one, right? So, who was that for you? My first Book of Mormon, my grandparents, absolutely. Who really introduced me to reading the Book of Mormon and knowing the Book of Mormon? That would have been President Benson when he gave the challenge back in 1986, in the October General Conference, 1986. Talked about the Book of Mormon. And so for 1987, I read it and really put my life into it. What a difference. And that's where I got my testimony of the Book of Mormon when I was 11. Grateful for that, and for a lot of people it comes later. Some people they've always known, and I think I always knew, but that was really getting into it. So while I never met President Benson, there were definitely angels that introduced me to the Book of Mormon, that caused me to read and then supported me when I did, because not everybody did. My family did not. They were very critical of me getting up early to read. Not my grandparents. Never mind. Not a good house, as I've said many times. I don't think they liked me expanding knowledge, but anyway, that's okay. I did it anyway, figured it out. But I had other people that were very supportive of that and continue to be so. So I'm grateful I had them. So there's always someone there. And the other thing I sort of thought of is how do these, I've got written down here, let me just go back to this. How do their testimonies strengthen yours? Have a look at that. What in their words inspires you? And do you feel you could add your name to the witness statements even if you haven't actually seen the plates? Do you have that kind of testimony knowing that this came from plates? I do. You're maybe not there yet, but I would invite you to look at that this year to see if you're feeling that you could add your name. Sign your name at the bottom of these witness statements to also say, actually, I know the Book of Mormon's true. I may not have actually seen the plates they came from, but I know these came from plates through divine inspiration, revelation, inspiration to be written in the first place, revelation to translate them. I know that this happened. I know that these existed. And, if you don't feel that, again, work on that. But if you know that, do you want to? I have, but I'm not forcing you. I'm inviting you to find that journey for yourself. So have a look at those. When you're reading the witness statements of there, have a look for those things. All right. Hang around. We're going to talk about the testimony of the prophet Joseph Smith, which is on the next 3 pages. I'll see you there.